Wassail Beautiful People. So, I'm doing another reading about the full moon in Aries on the 20th of October at 14:56 GMT UTC. So you have to work out the difference. It's a very testing moon, I think is the best way to put this. And it will go immediately void for 5 hours and 3 minutes. And then there will be like a challenge. And the challenge is about really trying to deal with what triggers your earthly fury. And can you balance this? And can you end the cycle? That seems to be the challenge. You see, at the point of the full moon, there's a series of very uncomfortable triangles. They're not trines, but they're energies running between Pluto and the moon. And then there's two separate triangles with two different peaks, one with the sun and one with Mars. And we need to think about Mars is in Libra and it's at 23 degrees. And Mars still hasn't been in the stellium tear. Mars is still acting a little bit like the rogue agent that can't be pinned down. All the energies around the cosmos are changing, but Mars is not hearing the tune. And so Mars is becoming more guttural, more angry and more aggressive in many ways. And the difficulty we have is that with Mercury and Jupiter breaking down the walls of that enclosure that we had around the moon and the Earth, at this point of the full moon, bearing in mind that Mars is at home in Aries, it's kind of like taking the energy of the esoteric veil. What is it that triggers anger in people? And it's kind of sending it directly between itself in a kind of form of opposition because of the sun and the moon being in the sun being in Libra and the moon being in Aries and Mars being there. There's this energy of a fiery test. Can you survive the fiery test? So we have, as I said, the moon is in Aries. What is it that triggers your anger towards others? Because it's in you. If you're seeing something that makes you angry with another, it's in you. And that's at 27 degrees of Aries. Then we have Pluto at 24 degrees in Capricorn, which is that mutable energy of death and rebirth. Can you end the cycle? Can you change the cycle of what prompts you to get aggressive or angry or tell another person that you're right and they're wrong rather than respecting difference? It's like we're being tested to see if we can not be angry. And then you have the sun at 27 degrees of Libra, and as I said, you have Mars at 23 degrees of Libra, and they're very fiery and they've been cut out of this corral and they're going to come rushing in towards the moon. But can you identify how to stop, be calm and allow the energy to just soften? And it's interesting because 24 hours later Mars will be at 24 degrees, and that's more or less when it will go into a total opposition with its sister asteroid, Eris. So there's a lot of really wonderful challenges that we need to embrace, and a lot of the energies that are going on at the moment, because there's also a difficult energy between Pluto, not a difficult energy, there's a beneficial energy, which is a sextile that's been going on for quite a long time between Pluto and Neptune, and that's asking us how we can change the fog. But that's going to ring out for quite a long time, and really the energy of Neptune is really the main focus of the eclipse tunnels. But at the moment, until the eclipse, until the 1st of December, when Neptune comes out of retrograde, we've still got this energy of the warrior woman, Eris, being kind of hidden. So these are energies within 4-degree orbs quite often. A lot of these frequencies, they're not perfect yet, but they're offering us the energy to heal. But they're not a healing that's exact. So it's not an energy that will just drive into people. It's an energy that we need to seek to heal from and to heal alongside and to make those differences. So I think what we're going to do is have a look at the energies of this difficult frequency that's testing you, what triggers your earthly frequency, fury, rather than your divine fury or your sacred rage, which is Eris. Eris doesn't quite come in, but you can connect to her. We'll come to her in the second half of the reading, but we'll begin first of all with the other 3 planets. So where are my planet cards? So I don't have one yet for Eris, but we need Mercury. No, we need the Sun, we need the Moon, we need Pluto, and we need Mars. You see, the energy of the Moon, Sun and Mars, which is the solar plexus, the root, all of our molecules, and then the third eye, it's like trying to bring a thoughtfulness into the fires of the molecules. The desire to jump at someone, the desire to attack someone, the desire to say something that you actually need to say to yourself. Don't bring to another what you need to say to yourself. If something is upsetting you, ask what that energy is in you. And then we have the spine, Pluto. How to rewire everything so that we can make a change and send the energies in new directions. So, before I shuffle all the cards, it's so sweet. The children weren't here at all, but as soon as I start the reading, they get excited. I'd like to just thank everybody who's been able to send me some tips, because it calms my mind. Just knowing that I have a cushion and I can go out and buy food and think about moving all the time to the next part of my journey, because obviously I have to find accommodation to stay in. So thank you all very much. Lovely split of the deck. So let's begin with the Sun. No, let's begin with the Moon. Let's not have the Moon card though this time. Ooh. Actually, there's 2. Can I have to take them? Because it's 228. It's the Andean Cross and the Jaguar. So this is the energy of a karmic opportunity being delivered through the Moon. What is the karmic opportunity? To stop, to think before allowing anger to rise. So what about the Sun, please? A card for the Sun. Hush your mouth. Don't let the fires in your solar plexus bite another. Hold your tongue. Think. Go into the Moon. Use your intuition to seek inside yourself. What's the karmic lesson you're trying to learn? I just dropped a card. So, Mars, please. What's Mars got going on? What's Mars got going on? Mars. It's 12 frequency again. We've got 2 static moments and we've got to break the staticness. The owl, it is spirit. It is watching you. Let me just have a little deep dive into this owl of Mars. There's a sense of solitariness. Mars is alone. Mars is the outsider. Mars wants to hunt. Mars wants to peck. Mars wants to tear flesh. It's a really uncomfortable energy. And all that's holding Mars at bay is the jaguar of the moon, the apex predator. It's like emotions are coming to stave off the fires. So then Pluto, please. You see, Pluto is such a beautiful energy at the moment. It's not the traditional energy, but ever since Lisbon back in February, I've been getting this energy that Pluto loves us. And that's not Pluto's normal frequency. But this is a card of transformation, and you have to use the death and rebirth frequency to transform. So I've got 414 here, between the need to bite your tongue as part of the transformation energy, because that makes it divine. So let me have a little look at my notes. Right, so the other thing I need to bring up is Jupiter, but we'll come into Jupiter in a minute, because Jupiter is offering enormous energy, benevolent energy. But what we need to do first of all is we need to look at the Sun and Mars, because they're about to race in towards the Earth and the Moon with all this fiery cardinal energy. So the phrase this morning that was being pushed into my consciousness, and they made me write it in capital letters, is holier than thou. You cannot be holier than thou. Your right is no more right than somebody else's. We can't keep trying to correct others. We have to correct ourselves, and that will allow everyone to shift into a more comfortable truth. So let's go to the Raw Runes and let's see what we get. Now, what triggers your earthly fury? What triggers your earthly fury? That's a really interesting card. It's a very magical frequency, but it's earthbound frequency. It's earthly energies that cross you. It's this notion that, so they're showing me the 2 Gununga gaps in the center of this card. It's like cognitive dissonance. What triggers your anger is when somebody has an idea that's not the same as yours, and you can't seem to bring these 2 ideas together, and so this distance between these 2 notions creates an aggression. And we have to not be speared by that. We have to, look, the card is holding the 2 energies separate, and that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything, but you can't force your truth onto somebody else's truth, because all of our truths are very, very different. So let's look at the energy between, no, let's come back. Let's add on top of that. Let's add tarot on top of that. I feel like I need an Odin card. So we'll read these energies in 3 parts. Well, we have it's 12 frequency. It's Asgard. So it's masculinity. And it is that frequency of righteousness. Holier than thou. I have built a wall around my life, and if you step in with some kind of other ideas of how life should be, I'm going to bite you. I'm going to fly down with my talons and pick over the flesh of you, and it's not pleasant. It's not a good energy. So let's have some Motherpeace to bring a solution to it. I think it just wants these 2. Yeah, look, it's really fascinating. It's the 9 of Swords. This card has so much trauma in it. So much going in. It's kind of talking about have a look. There's so much, all trauma. Your tree of life is being damaged by your anger. Just like they say, when you get angry, it hurts your chest. We have the bronchial tree inside our chest. You hurt your own heart by having such fixed attitudes and you not allowing the energy to flow. There's also the trauma of nightmares. Nightmares, there's a kind of an eye and a sword, but it's not quite an eye and a sword. It's almost like a blinking sensation of seeing something that literally in an eye blink triggers fury. And I want to call this 3-dimensional earthly fury. You're sleeping on a bed of swords, a bed of nails. It's like your spine, the Pluto frequency, is on edge. You're angry. You feel all your strength being drained away by things going on in the world. There's a snake coiled round part of your energy flow. All of your frequencies are flowing badly in the wrong direction. And then there's the spider, the key to changing and transformation. But this spider's kind of climbing onto the back of Sagittarius, who's shooting at the tree. This need for mutability. It's like, this is that cognitive dissonance. You know that the solution is to just accept that other people have an alternative idea. And yet you want to, again, poison another person rather than changing yourself. It's a really fixed frequency and you're being asked to just stop. And then it's followed by the Priestess of Swords. And the Priestess of Swords, she's being led by the owl. She's in a snowy landscape. Now, ice in Norse mythology is where new physical form is created. There's something about her frequency where she's finally beginning to move across what you would consider a dangerous landscape, but Spirit wants to guide you with the sun, and the sun is now suddenly burning my eyes. I just need to see what this is. Okay, it's an audio message. I can't hear that yet. So yes, you're being led by the sun, by life force, by joy, but you're mixing your life force with too much toxic earth anger. So, how did he do that though? Let's just take the other deck. How do they find this calm? How do they find this calm? I'm already being told it's the energy of Eris. So this Priestess of Swords is acting as Eris. This is you in your earthly, frightened form. And then this is Eris. You have to focus on Eris. I'm just going to say it's giving me more energies of princess, you know, warrior princess. You've got to focus on Eris. We're going to come to Eris. We will come to Eris. So let's have a little look at what the frequency is between the sun and Mars and the moon. Because remember, the moon has got this wonderful energy. Might have to just shift back a bit. Let's see if we can do this, because I don't want my water to fall over, but we've gone into the shade and I can't bring the cards to the front of the screen for you. Come to me, people, come to me, come to me, come to me. That might be better. Yes, that's better. So, there's Eris. Moving across, she's very much got the energy of Skadi. It's safe to move across the ice. It's safe to go on a new journey. It's emotionally safe. So, let's ask Moon. What's the energy of the moon? What triggers the fury, I feel? It's still about what triggers the fury. Truth. It's like, what triggers the fury? Other people's truths. Why are we not allowing other people to have the freedom to have their own truth? Geffen. I also want to say there's something about this which is, it is gendering. There's something about, and it's a misgendering by us. We need to stop thinking that anger is a masculine energy. That's just our traditional way of looking at it. But Mars is still in that fiery, warlike energy. The thing about Eris is the warbird. And yet at the moment she's taking the form with the moon of a karmic process that's coming upon us. So, two cards. Strength. Strength. Oh, and the Two of Wands. You see, this was about nightmares. And this is about the strength in dreams, in the esoteric, the visions through the veil. So, it's like the There's a kind of lion and a little devil and a little tiny bird, hummingbird, I guess, in the Yggdrasil tree. Here, the Yggdrasil tree is being reborn. The energy of the astral is bringing calm. You've almost got to find your sacred calm. And the moon is offering that. It's offering us the strength of karmic, cosmic energy to keep you calm. But you've got to... You see, this is fascinating. This card, in the dream world, it looks like someone's trying to spark up. But I think what it's saying is remember to not spark up. Remember to hold your tongue and look within. Don't keep rubbing at the wound within yourself. Find your happy place. Find your comfort zone. So, we'll get one tarot on that. There it is. It was going to come out somewhere. It's the moon on the moon. It's about how the solution to everybody's trigger or everybody's anger will always be different. There's a different hidden solution for each of us, but we have to seek it through our connection to the mind, through meditation, through breath, through calmness, and we need to seek to go into the energy of the astral without the nightmares. So, Pluto. What's Pluto got going on? Pluto is trying to transform that sense of the anger. It's showing us that explosive energy. So it needs another card that gets us to the beauty way. Pluto's like the challenge. Pluto's giving you the energy that's testing you. The moon has got the karmic solutions. You see, that's really interesting. It's got Neptune energy. It's creating a fog. It's saying this is not an easy solution. So let's have Neptune's bells. So, the solution, the bells, Neptune is telling me that the solution to this moon is in the eclipse tunnel. And I've been told that it's not the Janus Sagittarius, it's the Janus Neptunus. Because on the 1st of December, Neptune will go prograde, and suddenly the energy of divine fury, Eris frequency, will be reconnected to all of us. So we've got to bite our tongues. We've got to prove that we don't get angry, we don't poke other people, we guide ourselves and use our light energy to guide others, but without taking them by the hand and forcing them. So Pluto, one more card for Pluto, please. Right, I want to say that Pluto's being a stirrer. It's the Shaman of Cups. I'm going to have to go back again. Let's go back again. There's something about this energy of retreating. Oh, and now I'm sinking. There's something about all of this. The ground underneath our feet is not as stable as we imagine. So look, Pluto is shit stirring. But what I mean by that is Pluto is the great shaman. There's a big Pluto return coming on quite a few big important events that break down society. And those it's doing its Pluto return next year on the birth of America. There's a Pluto Uranian return. I have to check that. But it's dealing with the Industrial Revolution that took place. It's also dealing with global commerce, because all of those things grew up around the same time. So they're going to be challenged. And we've got the Shaman of Cups and the Four of Cups. It's also the Pluto return on the Lisbon earthquake. And that Lisbon earthquake that caused a tsunami. I'm seeing rising emotions, stirring emotions. This is very much the frequency of Mary the Jewess and alchemy. It's like we need to have the fog removed, but the fog is not going to come away until we're in this eclipse tunnel. So there's a sense of being emotionally lost, and that's the challenge that Pluto's putting out there. Pluto is destabilizing emotional security to create an anger that we have to learn to step away from. We have to focus on this rich, beautiful energy that's inside the moon, that's source energy, bringing a karmic cycle. And we mustn't fight with anger, earth anger, this very fogged emotional time as the cosmic energies change. So let's just get another tarot on that one. Yeah, look, it's a huge... It's the tunnel. It's the Janus Neptunus. It's a cosmic gateway that's bringing in the energy of a new age, the age of the adult child, the age of Horus. And that's very much the frequency that we get on this moon card. Dreams of that kind of thing. There's a scarab beetle. There's magic attached to the moon and the cycle of the moon, because this is a full moon. Then we've got to go through an entire full moon to full moon, and then when the new moon, that cycle of the full moon is the full moon that will be the eclipse. So we're a month away from the triggering of some kind of new tunnel. So I feel like we need to just go to the energy of Jupiter, what Jupiter is bringing before we go to Eris. What is Jupiter bringing? Because Jupiter's got this wonderful expansive energy, and it's in a very benevolent mood. What did I write about it? Oh, Jupiter is offering, I channeled this phrase, which is expansive understanding of your emotions. Jupiter is offering an expanse, because Jupiter is now heading, Jupiter knows that it's going home to Pisces on the 29th. So, what's Jupiter's position on all of this? Jupiter is the eagle. Jupiter is... It's like Jupiter can come down onto this energy of confusion, and it can use its wings, the energy wings that we have, to kind of clear away the Niflheimia fog. She's walking, Eris is walking across Niflheimia. So within the space of inside the fog that we can't see yet is Eris. And as I say, Eris and Mars will be exactly opposite 24 hours after the new moon. So they're already in an energy frequency. But Jupiter's got its eye on you, like the moon's got its eye on you. There's something about when the moon in this cycle reaches Aquarius. When it reaches Aquarius. Not sure when that is. Oh, I might have it. Let me just check back a few days. That's severe combustor notes. No, haven't got it. But we can check that. Hummingbird on the bottom of the deck there as I turn that down. I think that's the real reason for me putting that deck down and looking. A hummingbird came again today. It's become my friend. So Jupiter. What are you bringing? Jupiter's bringing the scope to magnify the energy of the moon, to magnify the astral energies, to almost disconnect us from the roots of our anger, is the way I would look at this and speak about it. And we've got 1636, 1636. 1636 is not far off the year that the solar eclipse was born. It's not at all at the right date, but it's pointing me into the 1600s. It's pointing me into that energy of the solar eclipse Saros series having been birthed in 16 something, but it was back in June that I looked up that series, so you'll have to forgive me for not remembering the numbers of that. So let's have an Odin. It's Loki energy. Even Jupiter is bringing trickster, shamanic shit stirrer. You're being challenged. But there's a humour, there's a comedy, there's a joy to this frequency that Jupiter is bringing. There's a chuckle in Jupiter. Because you will all have to be tested. It just depends whether you want to start your test now and get over it. Daughter of Cups. It's like Jupiter is being playful with the emotions. She's bathing the bigger picture. Jupiter is bringing kind of like a recognition of the comedy of errors. That's why you have to stand still, hold the words until you can find something poetically beautiful and Shakespeareanly profound, maybe, rather than just triggering fury, anger. Going to move that down a little bit. That's better. Oh, Jupiter is big and greedy. So this is the astral. You have to align your Pluto spine. Jupiter is working with the Pluto energy because obviously Pluto is slowly coming in towards the frequency of the stellium tear, this new vibrational frequency, this new color coding that's going on, and it's offering the chance to heal. It's the 4 degrees orb offering a chance to heal, but only if you seek it. It's there. It's kind of a hidden energy that you have to work to strike down on with Jupiter. You can choose to do it. You can choose to take this moment and heal part of yourself, and then you're manifesting magician frequency, connecting again with your spirit animal, wearing the shield of your spirit animal, being at one with your spirit animal. We've also got here, again, working with Eris. This is like the Egyptian winged goddess whose name is Nekbet. So that's another frequency. I think it might rain shortly, so we might have to run in. So you're working with Eris. So we do need to jump to Eris. And I feel like this Nine of Discs is the opportunity that Eris is offering that is a kind of nod and a wink to the notion of the snake wrangler goddess, the nameless one. And there's something about this being playful. I mean, I've had that energy from Jupiter. Maybe Jupiter and Eris have got this energy, this playfulness that needs to come in. So I'm going to try and quickly throw a little Eris down, and before it rains, because it looks like it's really threatening to rain. So Eris was discovered in 2005, and originally she was actually called Xena Warrior Princess and her little tiny moon was called Gabriella, and then eventually she was named Eris, and her daughter was the name given to the moon, Dysomnia, which is lawlessness. And it's interesting that it moved into Aries in 1926, and that was kind of at the time when women began to throw off their corsets, they changed to shorter dresses, there was freedoms beginning to arise for women during that time. So she's been very much associated with the warrior woman, but she's also the warbird. So what's Eris? Because I don't think you've got to search for Eris right now, whereas you'll feel Eris after the 1st of December, when Neptune breaks that tie between Gaia, Uranus and Neptune and allows the energy of Eris in properly. Eris will be in Aquarius until something like 2048. I can't remember. Did I write it down somewhere? Yeah, 2048. She's the daughter of Nyx the Knight. She has no father, and she's the sibling of Aries, Mars. You see, you mention Mars and she spits. Right, she is the energy that will tame the earth. 1755 is actually a year that's relevant. And I might have to go and dig into that and see where Eris was. Because Eris is new, lots of people don't really understand. We haven't had enough chance to seek the patterns of Eris. So to understand Eris and how she works, she has a very elliptical orbit, just like Chiron does, but it means that she spends huge amount of time in certain signs, and then when she gets around to the other side in Libra, she's closest to the orbit of Neptune, and it's a much quicker movement. But there's something about 1755 that they're telling me I have to dig into, so I'm actually going to write that down to remind myself to look up. This is about overcoming crises through passion. So what are we taming the wind for with Eris? Right, it's given me fire upside down. It's to stop the anger. She's taming the anger in the earth, and that will come on the 1st of December. I need to write down the 1st of December 1755. It might mean nothing, but they're poking me. Anyway, let's just see Eris and Odin, because Eris is linked to Freya, and there she is. She's here. We're going on a journey with Eris. That's magical. That's that hummingbird being here. So Freya is often linked to Eris because Eris is a winged bird, war bird, and Freya has a cloak, an opheligu, made from falcon feathers, and when anyone places it on, they become the falcon. And we're going on a journey. We're going on a ride with Eris. Again, it's a birthright. And there's something very distinctly consciousness. I'm really trying to avoid saying masculine and feminine in this because I want you to understand that we can all have roid rage, anger, and we can all have sacred fury. It's not gendered. Okay, so let's put in some runes. Okay, so Eris, they're telling me we have to look at the past. I have to look at the past. I have to look at the point in the past, the footsteps we've left behind, the markers, the clues. Somewhere I'm going to spend the rest of today looking at clues for 13, the mirror that becomes 13 frequency, that has got clues into how we originate and awaken. The original birthright, awakening to this original birthright that's been a cycle that hasn't actually been around for a while, is the best way to put it. It wasn't meant to be. Everything's exactly as it should have been. What else would you like to say, Eris? What else would you like to say, please, Eris? Right, ripen, ripian. Ripian, ripian. This is to mature. It's like this energy that started in 1926 is slowly maturing. It's growing. Oh, you see, it's telling me to look for the footmarks where the energy of these two roots lift higher and become these two side shoots that haven't yet opened up. Gonna have to check the number of ripen. And then we have I'm not going to take those because it's a whole pile. And my new rule was you only take the ones facing up. So Wendhorn, being unbound, she is here to unbind old energies, to unbind the footsteps left in the past that were only left by certain frequencies, to bring us to win frequency, bliss, to comfort, a journey towards a comfortable birthright. She is bringing in the energy of the future. Scald, the briars, it's almost like she's softening the energy of the briars. Now look, we had this ripen energy, and it's this fruit bearing to offer the apple bearer. We're coming toward an energy of change. This is interesting. It's the same frequency as the cognitive dissonance that we had between the sun and the Mars, the anger in people. But now you've worked out the solution. Eris provides the divide for you, for us, for all of us, to allow other people their own thoughts. You cannot impose your will on another. It's not Eris frequency. You have to bear your own fruits towards the future. So let's just have... Gonna also have to dig into Eris because it feels like she's not been there, and I need to know how she plays into sound healing. I mean, it's very Xena Warrior Princess, but this is about, at the moment, this card keeps coming out as calling, like your past. They're showing me the whirlwind, the swelgeness, the energy frequency that rotates around, coming through a stone with a hole, the eye of the needle, the earth frequency door, the judgment gateway. And it's a point at which we're calling in our freedom, our spiritual freedom. That's interesting, a spiritual freedom. So you have to stop. Look, I have nothing against religions, but religion's usual warfare is to impose their will, is to suppress. Now, you can have any belief system you want, but you mustn't, we shouldn't, we won't be able to force our religious beliefs on another. You have to allow spiritual independence, because that's the frequency. Oh, now they're talking to me about ripen fruit bearing to offer trickster frequency. When she wasn't invited to the wedding, Eris throws down a challenge. This is all about a challenge of your divine rage, your earthly fury, and your ability to remain calm, which eventually leads to spiritual freedom. Because she throws down the challenge and she gives a golden apple, and she says, if whoever is the most beautiful goddess can have the apple, and it sets about a fight between the goddesses which leads to war. And the Ten of Discs, birthing a new world, birthing a new community, moving into a brand new frequency. Never quite sure what it is this woman is birthing, but it's not a child. It's about birthing. Do you know, I don't know what it's about birthing. I have to be really honest. I stare and stare at this card. Everyone has a shield. Everyone... Oh, you see, Eris is bringing... Everyone's truth is different. We have to birth a new energy, and we have to anchor that energy and make it real that we are all different. And yet we can all share. So we'll just end. It's very clever. So, Saturn in Leo, you've got to see how this has got huge connection. But the difference here is we haven't actually allowed the space for the different opinions. We've struck down. Oh, this is again... This is that energy of neckbet. It's Eris frequency being worn on the crown chakra. So coming to a different understanding and beginning to form behind this energy. Again, we've got to mortar in a new philosophy that allows others the space to be themselves. For whatever reason that they have, it's their pathway to explore, and we shouldn't challenge or make a judgment. It's going back to the energy all the way through 2020. Don't judge yourself and don't judge others. And at the moment, as the world is changing because of those frequencies, Judgment of the World Year 2021, it's giving people anger issues that have to be calmed. And she's coming in as Nin Lil. And it's interesting that I always call this Nin Lil, but it's very much, it's Inanna. Because she was love, gifts, and war. And again, there's a frequency of black wings. It's very much Dark Moon Lilith. It's very much linked into Jupiter and the energy wings. It's about self-empowerment. But what really self-empowers us is to be so comfortable in our truth that we don't feel a need to challenge another's truth. We allow them to have their truth. Just shine in our own light. So, can I end, I think... With another couple of the Motherpeace cards. So what would you like to say, please, at the very end, Motherpeace? And I want to get these without knocking the computer shut. We have the Daughter of Discs. This is my card of connection with something higher than yourself, your higher self, almost us as the Daughter of Discs before we enter the tunnel and come down to earth to be born through the elementary canal. But this is something to do with the structures being buried, the old structures, as we move through with Eris when she comes out on the 1st of December, how we move into this frequency through the Janus Neptunus. And there's something about this Ten of Wands that is about a kind of, it's like a shamanic dance. It's reminding me of the time when they had the dance in Strasbourg. I can't remember the year, but it was believed someone started dancing, more people started dancing, and they danced themselves until they died. And it's believed it was an rye hallucinogenic fungus that caused it, just like for the Salem witch trials. But I don't know whether we can see. Yeah, we can. There's something a bit raged about this card, but it's about creating new frequencies. But there's a rawness to it. It is this warbird energy. It's a very rogue frequency. Let me just have a look. It's like it's like air frequency is inflaming a kind of sacred rage energy, a divine fury that creates an unburdening energy. And it's coming through Eris. I'm going to have to move back a bit. Actually, I'm reaching the end now, so I'll just lean back. We end with the energy of deep sea Neptune bringing a clearance, bringing that energy of lost emotions up from the seabed. So it's definitely about working with Eris and Neptune. And they're just trying to point out to me that it's moving us through to a new 12 frequency, a new emotional stability. But somehow we've got to lose our minds to find our minds. We've almost got to seek insanity to find clarity. That's a really strange energy being put in my head. Anyway, that's the full moon. So have fun with that. And I'll probably be here again tomorrow with some other digging. I'll try and find out what this 1755 is. It looks like I'm going to have to do a lot of deep diving on the solar eclipse and its Saros number, its cycle. It's quite a young one. It's a very young one, and it's over the South Pole. So, wassail, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.